it can affect men between the ages of 35 and 65. I was like, wow. So all these years, I thought you, thought you was crazy. No,
Wow.
I'm playing, but
Five, four, three, two, one, zero.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
and that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go. Hey everyone, this is Snooks.
And Lovey.
Have you ever felt that you need additional assistance enhancing your intimacy?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about making the connection with your partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? There's an app for that.
Yeah, and it's called Intimately Us.
I love that app because you know what? You get to play so many different games.
Yeah, you're interrupting. They have Battle Strip.
And Sexy Twister, which is one of my favorites.
And they also have conversation starters and...
I love the how-to. There's a how-to where you can actually learn techniques and things that you want to try with each other along with the sexploration list.
So I was going to say, they also have great date ideas. So if this sounds good to you, download the app at r.intimately.us/MIC.
That's r.intimately.us/MIC.
The link will be in the show notes. Now let's get ready for the podcast.
Welcome to episode 199 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And, you know, it's one of those things where we're at the mid-year point and you got to start to assess, are we hitting the goals? Are we doing the things that we said on January 1st, January 2nd, whatever that time frame may be? We're not big resolution people, but we are big on setting visions. And you got to get to the point where you ask yourself, am I on track to do exactly what I wanted to do? Do you ask yourself that?
No.
I was gonna say that laugh says it all, folks. The laugh is like, no.
Not like that. I mean, I do have kind of daily tasks, I should say. So I try to, in regards to like how I plan my day out as far as homework or, well, actually just about my homework. That's the only thing I have. Am I on task for my homework?
Interesting. See, as we approach episode 200, which is a major milestone for us that's coming up.
I know, that's wow.
I know, right? That's coming up real soon, July 6th. The reason why I'm bringing all this stuff up, like, okay, mid-year, we talk about it every year when we get to this point, like, okay, time to reassess, think about, are we hitting the goals? Are we pursuing our vision? Are we doing the things that we said we're going to do in order to really fulfill that vision? You know, and part of that vision is that I had was to make sure that I was more active, more intentional about raising awareness regarding this podcast. And the easiest way to do that is right here, right now, to remind everybody to go to marriedintocrazy.com and do a couple of things. Number one, go to the coaching tab and book a discovery call. Reach out to us. Let's have a conversation about whether or not Snooks and Lovey are the couple to sit down with you and help you get from wherever you are right now to wherever you want to be. Mm-hmm. And if you're like, I just like the entertainment value. Okay, then good. If you love just the entertainment value and you're not looking for coaching,
then go to Apple Podcasts, excuse me, and give us a 5-star rating. 5.
Yep, either Apple or Spotify, because now Spotify allows you to leave a rating as well. So Apple, Spotify, do us a favor. Take a picture of it, post it on your social media. When you go to the website, tell a friend about it. Do all of that, and since you're still online, go over to the Facebook community that you love and you belong to
the Iron Tribe, the marriage community.
Yep, definitely join, because on July 6th, on our 200th episode, we are going, well, not actually on the episode itself, but that day that we're releasing our 200th episode, we are going to be making a live on Facebook within the community, a live announcement that is pretty big, that we've been working towards. We're excited about. We've brought in a lot of different people for this, and we are excited for the announcement. And so anyway, the easiest way to be a part of that is to go and join Iron Tribe, the marriage community, and RSVP to the live event that's going to take place on July 6th. So with that said, still in the same vein of us reaching goals and reassessing, I'm not going to lie, I had to actually ask myself recently, am I having a midlife crisis?
I would have told you, yeah.
Well, wait, why would you say yeah?
I don't know. You always want to buy stuff. Isn't
No,
that?
I don't. If anything, I want to stop you from buying stuff.
Lovey.
Who was talking about a Mercedes and
When did I say that?
you were talking about it.
No, I wasn't. So here's the deal. When I got my bachelor's, when I went back to school, no, even before that, when I went back to school initially and I got my AA before while I was in school, he's like, yeah, I said, yeah, when I graduate, I want a new car, blah, 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 whatever. He was like, okay, cool. So I graduated. I got my AA. I got 2 AAs. And when it came time to pay out, he's like, oh, no, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about getting your bachelor's.
She didn't read the fine print.
There was no fine print.
It was fine
Anyway, okay, just let's push forward. In 2020, I got my bachelor's and no car.
She didn't read the footnote. She didn't read the footnote.
What?
I'm just saying, you got to read
See,
the fine print and the footnotes to make sure that
you're not being scammed? You right about that. My bad. I thought you were.
But when she completes
integrity.
that master's, she can get whatever she wants.
Yeah.
In the candy aisle. No, but that is true. That is true. We had that conversation.
You're so silly.
But now, see, I was holding out to the point where she's like, I don't really want a car.
Actually, and I did, because I did get a different car.
She did.
It wasn't a brand new, but I had my Lexus and I loved it, you know.
She still loves it.
I do. But in 2 years, I probably
But let's
would
get
be ready
okay.
for
You're going off
something else.
topic. Let's get back to the topic.
No,
Why
because
do you think
you were saying about like you have to stop me from buying stuff. Lovey walks through this house every single day. He wants. I mean, and we've talked about some of the things that we want to redo. But every day he's talking about how we got to pull the floor up, or he wants to pull up the carpet, and we got to do this. Oh, I'm just gonna gut this office and
mine's
the
all
office
DIY.
every day. Who's gonna do that?
Not DIY, but mine's all the stuff that these are improvements to the house.
It's still buying stuff. A new TV is an improvement, right? A new car is an improvement over the one that you had.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
So
what's this
no,
got to do
don't
with
be
midlife
saying-
crisis?
You brought it up.
You going deep. Look.
Oh,
So you think I'm having a midlife crisis because I say I want to actually pull
that
up
is
the,
one
the
of the
grungy carpet
signs.
that we have in this house?
He is the biggest offender of wearing his shoes in the house. When we said don't wear your shoes in the house, he is the biggest offender. Him and my 2 brothers. What's that about? Anyway, but I mean, I will say we've been here for 16 years, so it's time.
It's time. It's time.
But don't say I'm the one that's trying to buy stuff. Anyway, let's get back to the subject.
Okay, so
Lovey says he's having a midlife crisis.
I did not say that. You said I'm having a midlife crisis. I was thinking.
You thought you were okay. Why were you thinking
so
it?
you reach a point in your life where you start to think that you're having some kind of what do I want to call it, like a self-evaluation, right?
Okay, reassessment of yourself. Yeah.
Yes, but
But that doesn't mean that you're having a midlife crisis. What is it that defines a midlife crisis for you?
so but look, when you have a period of like, well, let's call it existential self-evaluation, right, where you find yourself at the crossroads between your youth and your, for me, it's all about like, okay, we're at a good point in our marriage, and I wanted to know, I don't know, I'm evaluating. I'm trying to be more introspective, and I'm not talking about buying a Harley or
Because you wouldn't be able to buy a Harley.
because I don't even know how to ride a motorcycle.
I wouldn't allow it. That's one thing that I would put my foot down
I'm
and
gonna
be
get a
like,
Vespa,
what is that?
the little scooters you see people riding in Italy.
You don't even get to get one of those.
No, but when you talk about like having a midlife crisis, a lot of times people talk about this when there's like a true crisis that causes somebody to like act out of character and do certain things that are just really just I'm gonna say outlandish, but complete opposite, like a 180 of where they are, and I'm not there.
So I just want to just kind of throw this out there. When you say people talk about when people do these things, who are they talking about?
Like who's the they?
Who? No, 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 no. Not who is the they. Who is? Well, who are they talking about? Who is the person or the entity, the gender that they are talking about?
It's a very
Men.
sexist practice.
It's men.
It's
It's
a very
men.
sexist.
I just thought I'd say
I knew
that.
she was going there. Okay, what's your definition of a midlife crisis?
I don't have one. I mean, honestly, kind of like what you said though. How I think of it is a midlife crisis. Okay, midlife, where you start thinking about the time that you have left versus the time that you had. So that's kind of, you might think, dang, I've lived more life than I will have life. I mean, because
Okay,
just
you're depressing the hell out of me.
why?
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
No, but if we want to keep it real, any teenagers, I think I won't say teenagers, but the 20-year-olds, I think we probably got it better than them, just because of the things that they put themselves into, going to these concerts, and not that grown older people don't go, but they're in more places where tragedy may happen than you and I
There's
are.
more risk involved with a lot of their
There you
behavior.
go, the risk. So for that's what you asked me what it is. That's just what I think about. When you get to the point where you start thinking about, I've lived more life than I will probably have life left.
Like you're on the other side of the hill, right? Like there's
Or yeah, or
less
you're,
left than I've already lived.
and but it becomes a crisis when you feel like, when you reassess those, your life, and you think, dang, I've not accomplished anything that I've wanted to accomplish. There's still, I've lost my youth, because let's just be real, we are a society that's based on, everything is about how you look, oh, you overweight, you're blah blah blah, whatever. Or so your body, you start changing, the biology starts changing, which affects your psychology.
Okay.
So just like myself, I'll, keep it real. So it's like all of a sudden one day I woke up, I'm like, how come my stomach won't leave? I mean, but because of my age, that's more cortisol that's surrounding around my stomach. Now, if I was the type of person that, if I just fixated on what's wrong with what I feel is wrong with me, then I would be totally depressed. And that would be the biological messing with the psychology.
Okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
the driver behind it. Well, see, let me give you the definition that I found on midlife crisis.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
It says that midlife crisis refers. Let me start over as she was talking over me.
Stop being a baby. Ew.
Midlife crisis refers to a phase in a middle-aged person's life, usually between the ages of 35 and 65, wherein they feel compelled to face and or reevaluate their mortality, confidence, identity, and accomplishments. The term was first coined in 1965 by psychologist Elliot Jacques.
So the funny thing to me about, like, when you think about midlife crisis, I feel like, so for women, there's a definite sign that, oh, you're having I'm gonna say midlife crisis, but you're in midlife basically, and that's
The change.
menopause. Yeah.
The change.
So we have the menopause thing that just is okay. As soon as that starts happening, you're like, all right. So
Is that when y'all start go chasing the younger men? And
no, so the reason that we chase younger men is because when men go through menopause, the people that the spouses that they've been with for all these years, they up and leave them because I won't say 9 out of 10. I'm being facetious, but I didn't mean to hit there. But a lot of times men, their mentals are really off when they start thinking about their, what did you call it? Their mortality kind of thing. They have a harder time with it. So men that go through menopause, well, it's called a male climactic.
men all pause.
Whatever. And in male climactic, which is really another word for male menopause. So I studied this, so
No, I'm learning. Keep it going.
okay. And it's funny too because when I found out that it can affect men between the ages of 35 and 65, I was like, wow. So all these years, I thought you
Wow.
she was crazy. No,
Wow.
I'm playing. But
Okay. Keep going. I'm taking
but
notes.
but that is a trip though to think that it's 35. So it can start as young as 35. So when men go through a midlife crisis, there's a high risk for divorce or extramarital affairs, career changes, and depending on their mental, more suicide attempts, and they are actually more prone to accidents also.
Wow. Okay. So I'm just like going through a minute. I was trying to write this down, but I'm going through a career change.
Hmm.
But you're also going through a change where, you're getting your MSW,
Right.
going back to school.
But I mean, that's just one of the things, for men, but also for women. We typically they say women go through the empty nest type of thing because the kids leaving, going to school, moving out or whatever. But nowadays more women are working outside of their homes, and they're about self-empowerment.
Well, not really. I mean, now everybody's working back at home.
Well, I mean, when I say outside of the home, I mean they have a job, a
Gotcha.
career
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
outside of their families.
Well, see, a midlife crisis, the way I understand it, it's usually triggered by something that's like a life altering event. Something happens to trigger it. You don't think so?
Yeah, well, it could.
But I don't think it's really. Yes, it has something that I guess age is a component of it as far as getting older and facing mortality, all those different things, like a milestone birthday that kind of like makes you be introspective, like, oh my God, have I completed all the things I wanted to do in life? Whatever. But it has more to do with the anxiety of the change than it does with the dread of aging. I don't mind getting older because I don't feel older.
Well, I think, and this is just from my studies. Um,
So y'all
I'm
gonna get
doing
like
a
another
whole
200
bunch.
episodes
I'm doing a
of
whole bunch. I'm just playing
she
around.
gonna be like, in my studies. Wait till she gets her MSW. Wait till she gets that master's. Then she's gonna be like, oh, okay. Well, according to my practice, I'm already waiting for it.
I'm just playing. No, but seriously, typically the people that have that anxiety and stuff, those are the ones that they do the self reflection, and they find that, wow, I have not done, or they find it's like there's negativity. They're negative about it. How you deal with it psychologically will affect how you move forward.
Oh, like
If it
manifests. Okay.
well, I mean, if I'm anxious about it, or if I'm, oh, I'm dreading it and stuff. Like you said,
Well,
it's
okay.
just gonna make it worse.
So according to my studies,
Okay, go ahead, sir.
no. But I think you're right because I think the one thing it doesn't address is your mindset going into the situation. I think it really does depend on, like you were saying, that's really good about how
Thank you.
the foundation that you formed before you actually get to that place, because I think those things are going to happen no matter what. We're all going to age. That's the one thing that's guaranteed. We're going to age and we're eventually going to pass away, but we're also going to pay taxes unless you're Wesley Snipes. And
Wow. So he has a black belt.
you got
And
to
if
find
he,
me.
if he, you ain't hard to find.
Come with it, Wes. Come with it. But if
Why are you silly?
but since you're a fan, and if you coming after me, that means you listening. I appreciate you. I really do.
Say,
But
we
anyway,
appreciate you.
no,
Go ahead,
but
sorry.
but I was just going to say that there's major milestone things that happen, right? That cause the anxiety. I think the anxiety is real, but like you said, it just depends on how you respond to that anxiousness. So this thing says that I'm reading actually says that there's certain things, and it called out. This isn't all inclusive, but it states like divorce, which we're not going through, but a milestone birthday, which we're both approaching in
What?
one more year.
55.
55
Do we get to go eat free?
at Denny's.
I was here to say. We get to get
And
that senior citizen.
get that senior citizen
That's
discount.
funny.
But okay, so a death of a parent, which I've had recently. I've lost both my parents now, my biologicals. a medical diagnosis last year, or actually 2 years ago, and then again last year, dealing with cancer. Children moving out of the home. We're not quite there yet. I think that I don't know if that's going to be some anxiety, some joy. It's going to be mixed. But they force us to face these things, right? And I was thinking, man, I'm experiencing some of these things. Are there some specific signs, things that you and I and all of our listeners can look for?
But see, here's the thing too, because there are so many people that are suffering from mental health. That does not necessarily mean that it's going to be a midlife crisis. Excuse me. So, because if I'm 60 and I experience some certain things and I start becoming depressed, is it because of those things that I'm depressed, or is it because I'm of a certain age? I think if I fixate on, oh my God, I'm going to be this age, and then all these other things maybe start happening, of course I'm going to be sad or depressed about those things, but my age part is going to be part of the reason why I feel sad.
A contributing factor.
Yeah, contributing factor. So, and then the other thing too is, kind of like you said earlier, it's how you accept your strengths and your faults throughout your life. That's going to play a part on how you're going to deal with coming of age or getting older, and also how close are you to your family? If you got good loving support and you're not out there just going it by yourself.
But some people have good loving support and they still go through it.
And you're absolutely right. So there's never any one right or correct answer. This is just what I found in my studies.
Wow. Don't try to talk. Did your studies tell you to talk in the microphone?
I'm trying to talk and look at you. He gets so mad. You know what? We need to have chairs where I could just sit in.
I've been trying to remodel, but she won't let me.
That whole thing she said. Who's spending money? Who's spending money? Okay, go ahead.
She just recommended that we remodel the office.
I said get a chair.
And get the studio set up.
That's what you heard.
That's what I heard. Okay. We got listeners now.
Midlife crisis.
Testify,
Midlife
listeners.
Crisis.
Testify. Look. Let me identify. There's going to be 6 things I recall. There's this article that I was reading in Bride magazine. Yes, I was reading Bride magazine.
Like, so you trying to marry somebody else or what?
No, but I read stuff that's relating to relationships.
Okay, because I'm just saying we were married in California. I can't stress it enough.
She goes there
all the time,
according to my studies. No, so there's I want to call out 6 things, and I want to see what your thoughts are on these particular things that could be signs that your spouse is having a midlife crisis.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Ready? The first one is feeling a need for adventure and change. So anyone there's a lot of people that seek fulfillment, right? And I'm not talking about, hey, let's go to the amusement park, though you did say the other day you were ready to get back on roller coasters.
I did say that.
Suspect for having a midlife crisis.
Wow.
Anyone may attempt to find fulfillment
okay.
through drastic measures, like having an affair, quitting their job, buying a big ticket item, whatever that may be, without consulting or having a lot of thought going into it. But those who opt for, they might have the same impulse, like, oh, I think I want this. But if you're not willing to be self-reflective and look within yourself as to why am I feeling this? Why do I feel compelled to take this drastic action, this order, this shift of course, and really upend our lives, or do something different, or really pursue this incredibly innovative idea that is a complete 180 from what I wanted to do, like needing adventure, change, excitement, all that. Because sometimes people, that's what they want to do. The Harley represents, getting out on the open road, riding the motorcycle and doing those things that is completely different. What do they do? They're what's that called? They're not switching lanes, but they're
driving through cars.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me. I always try and move over, but that's a whole other topic. But when you notice that they're doing something drastic and it seems like it's about an adventure or a major change, that could be a sign. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. When you ask the question of, oh, what's that about? Or why are we doing that now? And they're, oh, I don't know. I just need to change. I feel like, if it's a spur of the moment kind of thing, like you said, if like the librarian lady quits her job and becomes a stripper or something like that. There's
that's not funny, but
well, no, but I'm saying,
that's totally
out of character.
She'd probably
Like
get paid though. If she
totally out
showed
of
up
character.
looking like the librarian and started stripping.
Really?
She'd probably get paid.
You think so?
I'm guessing. It's just a wild guess. I wouldn't know. Man, let me just shut up. But if also okay. So another number 2 of 6 is exhibiting signs of depression. Some people.
Some new depression, or just because
Well, if you haven't been exhibiting signs of depression, let me give you some of the following symptoms.
okay.
Right, like sadness, hopelessness, helplessness, becoming pessimistic. Now, again, we're talking about completely opposite of what they've been. If they haven't had these symptoms, if you haven't been dealing with mild depression in the past or coming up with your own self-soothing, because I think we all have depression to a certain extent. Not that everyone's clinical. Some are more clinical than others, that some are undiagnosed. But if it hasn't been part of your persona, and then right around this time when you're starting to express like, I'm somewhere between 35 and 65, whatever it may be, and you have those things that were happening, milestone birthday, loss of a parent, just different things. So if you start exhibiting that helplessness, if you have a loss of interest in any of the things that you truly love to do, something that you've been known, like somebody's been an avid golfer their entire life, and people know him, like, where's he at? Oh, he's out there on the links, or she's out there hitting the ball, whatever. And then something happens, all of a sudden I don't want to go. I want nothing to do with it. That thing that gave you desire, that gave you joy, you just no longer have interest. Or if you have a lack of energy, you just did normal stuff, and all of a sudden it's just like you're just lethargic. You have the inability to focus, make decisions, and maybe even some unusual sleep patterns. And again, one of these things by themselves isn't going to be the indicator. It could be multiple things.
Well, I must be
I see
going
you
through
smirking.
midlife depression. I was like, whoa, I got that. Oh, I got that too. So maybe I'm going through midlife crisis.
Exhibit B, because I said earlier that. No. But if all these things are happening, but if you see some of those things, have a conversation. These aren't things where you're purely, in the peanut gallery watching everything. You're not supposed to be out there as a spectator. Marriage is not a spectator sport. It is fully functional, fully operational participation. That means that if you notice that your spouse is exhibiting some of these things, because maybe it's not midlife, maybe it is depression, maybe these things that you just need to talk about. Every single one of those things we talked about, if they're new, they're different, it should be sparking a conversation within your home. And then the other thing is, I don't know if I agree with this one. Well, did you have any thoughts on the last one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Questioning long-held beliefs. I don't know that I agree with this particular symptom, or I don't even want to call it a symptom. This thing that shows up, right? A clue, if you will. Now, this says abruptly quitting their job and investing in a new life path is a red flag. Okay, yeah. I don't know if that's questioning a long-held belief. But the desire for exploration and experimentation doesn't have to be, a completely negative thing, right? So if you're questioning long-held beliefs, I don't know. I think in every manner of that is a positive, because probably for like a good 6 months to 8 months, one of the major questions I've tossed around to people, I've said it to our clients, I've said it to people I know, like friends and colleagues. What if everything that you believe, everything that you think to be true, is wrong? And I'm not questioning your faith. I'm not questioning your beliefs about certain philosophical things.
You're just saying, what if?
Just what if? And I think we need to question long-held beliefs, because until we do that, it could just be a baton that was handed off to us, and we're just carrying the torch or carrying the baton simply because that's the way that, my grandpa told my dad that, my dad told me that, so I'm going to tell my kid that. But what if it's not true? What if it's completely wrong? What if you're operating on a negative information or erroneous information? So question that long-held belief. Just ask yourself why. So I don't know that I particularly believe. So that's just one thing. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's always good to question, to ask a question. But I guess maybe, like you said before, one of these things by themselves is not indicative to midlife crisis. Shoot, let's be honest. Maybe all of them are not.
I
I
think
don't
that,
know, but it would lend to it feels like if you have all of those, you're hitting all those points, then it's like something's going on.
right.
It at least is worth having a conversation, like you said, even if you feel like I don't know that I could talk to my spouse because I don't know that they would understand.
Well,
So
that's a conversation that needs to be had. If you don't know that your spouse was willing to understand, I mean, anyway, that's a whole other topic. But again, that comes back to your spouse should be if there is nobody else in the world.
no, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Well, here's an example, like me changing my long held beliefs. If you look at me now, I'm bald as can be, but I just decided that
You gonna grow some hair?
I'm gonna grow some dreads. I figure I need. You know what? I I want to grow them out.
You look sexy with dreads.
Yeah, with my bald spot, it'd be dreads like going looking on the side of my. I'd be looking like a crypt keeper or whatever. Crypt mouse. What was that dude from Tales from the Crypt? I'd be looking like him, except they'd be dreads instead of like the little George Jefferson thing going around. But anyway, so number four.
So I can't. I'm done with you.
No, I'm gonna try and find something that I can wear like that one day. But so here's another one. Number four, expressing anger and blame, meaning not just.
Oh, I was like, well, that's everybody. No.
But the point they're making is that no matter what it is, you're lashing out about all these changing feelings. It's your partner's fault. It's your fault that I feel like this. It's your fault that I'm not feeling fulfilled. It's your fault that I'm 54 years old and I haven't traveled all around the world.
Because that goes for me now. That goes back to looking at I've lived more life than I feel like I have left. So now I feel like I have to get it all done. You know what you've always said this. You feel like we can accomplish more in a longer amount of time than we think, and we can accomplish much less in a shorter amount of time than we think. Something like that.
Right? No, I agree.
So
That's good stuff. The number
stuff
five
Maynard.
is waffling on decisions. So indecision can take two. Why are you smiling?
I was like, except for what you want to eat.
Yeah, that's not midlife. We've been doing that since we were in our 20s. What you want to eat? I don't know. What you want to eat? That's a problem. That's a whole. Okay, we're gonna have a whole podcast
No, we're
dedicated to
not.
that.
We're
But
not.
waffling on decisions. Indecision can take two forms. The very first one is, what is it? Paralysis by analysis. When you talk about
Which
paralysis,
would be me.
no, but it can lead to frustration for both the person experiencing it as well as everybody around them.
It's very frustrating.
Can't commit to a real change in their life, even if they know that the change is overdue. This is the person that is, I've been in this job for 20 years and I'm an accountant and I hate numbers and I hate all the people and they're all boring and but you keep going every day.
Well, I
And you
mean,
tell everybody, one of these days I'm going to get a different job.
yeah, but you stay there out of fear. Because number one, just because I hate it, I at least know that I'm good at it. So I can get it done. But for me to venture out and do something different, what if I fail? What if I don't? What if I'm not successful? Because the what if game happens, and that's where you get stuck. I know what I'm talking about. I do. I know what I'm talking about because I've experienced it. So
Well, then there's
There's
also
that.
there's okay, that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is if you're waffling, right? If you're flip flopping all the time, going back and forth on, certain decisions, or you're making these rash decisions, and then it's like, no, I meant this instead. Like, okay, you know what? I'm sick and tired of you. You can't figure this out, and I haven't been to Greece yet, and you're the one holding me back. I'm getting a divorce. And then you go get a divorce lawyer. Like, no, I didn't mean to get a divorce. I don't really want the divorce lawyer. And then 3 weeks later, it's like, oh well, you know what? I'm not happy. Maybe I should call that divorce lawyer back. But it's these things going back and forth
the big things, yeah.
without truly analyzing what's the cause. The last thing is the most apparent, and that's straying from your marriage. Having either a physical or an emotional tryst, entanglement.
Triced.
Tryst? Tryst?
Tryst?
Tryst?
I
Tryst?
don't know.
Affair.
Let's say affair.
But when you do that, and I'm not saying that it's specifically because you're having a midlife crisis, but some of the reasons is you have a desire to reconfirm your sexual prowess because your spouse, for whatever reason, hasn't been as available to you. And people have a tendency to blame the other, like, oh, you don't find me sexually attractive, or you're a prude, or you've become this, that, and the other. Maybe you gained 300 pounds and I'm not attracted to you. Or maybe you're not practicing, no, I'm sorry, or maybe you're not practicing, good hygiene or whatever. Or what if you're always pessimistic, or you're not that positive individual that I've always been around? You're always saying something negative. And, I don't know. I'm just throwing this stuff out there. But these things, infidelity is a common symptom for a midlife crisis. When your spouse starts to withdraw and leave you, not just physically, but also emotionally, that can be a symptom of, I feel like I'm in trouble for some reason, the way you're looking at me.
No,
That could be a symptom of, starting to stray from the marriage. And it's because you're seeking something. You think you missed out on something and you're looking for it elsewhere.
Okay.
Which goes back to what you were saying. Like,
no, I misunderstood what you were saying, because it sounded like you were blaming the spouse for, like, oh, they're not connecting. They're not, oh, because the spouse doesn't want to have sex, or they're emotional, or that's what I thought you were saying. So that's why they go out and they do whatever. That's why I was like, okay.
No, it's more about yourself. Like, you just have this restlessness. Like, again, I think it goes back to what you said. Feeling as if, there's less life in front of me than what I've already lived. And I feel like I've missed out on so much. And so now I got to go out and get it.
Or you could, it could be that you're trying to relive your glory days or something, I keep saying, I'm sorry. So there are couples that get married and they've been married for many years, and then they get divorced in their 50s or what have you. And a lot of times people think, oh, they got divorced because the kids are out of the house, and now they're looking at each other, and now they're, they decide that they don't like each other or whatever. Or could it be that they decided that they've worked, they've done all these different things, and now they want to go have fun for themselves? Or could it
reclaim what I missed because I couldn't go to the club all them years?
Or it could be, I need to prove that I still got it. So now I'm finna go out there and I'm about to, I'm about to get it for real, for real. So, I mean, there are so many reasons that why that happens. I know we do studies and there's statistics, and, people take surveys, but everyone's not surveyed. So I'm saying that those things happen, the disconnection that does happen, and people get divorced. But how about let's rediscover what we had in the first place? How about let's see if we still got it with each other, instead of trying to go out and find somebody new to go see if you got it with. Because I promise you right now, if you go out and you try to rediscover and try to find somebody, it's not going to look good for you when they come over to your little shack. Because I'm taking everything.
I was like, wait.
I'm just letting you know. I'm putting you out there. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just letting you know.
Folks, first and foremost, ain't nothing going on, even though she keeps implying.
No. I see, Lovey just had a birthday 2 weeks ago. And, we're talking, it's just funny, we're talking about midlife crisis stuff. I'm just saying,
Wow.
Just saying. Saying.
Okay, so here, look. I come home and I see some Idris-looking fool walking around my neighborhood.
Don't do that. Hey, Idris.
Okay.
Nah, I'm playing. Right. Idris is married.
So
I don't want him no more.
Oh, you don't want no more?
I wanted him when he was string a bell.
Hey, so look, those are 6 things. Right? They're not inclusive, right?
And they're not written in stone, or we don't want you to be like, oh, okay, this is what you did, start check marking. And these are just things that can come up.
Right. Some different therapists would have written articles, and we thought we wanted to point it out because I think it's important that even if you're not midlife in age, if you got married at a younger age,
Your marriage could be in a midlife crisis.
Amen. Your marriage could be a midlife crisis. And start to recognize, like Snook said, you don't have to go outside the marriage to reconfirm your prowess when it comes to sexuality. It could be about, you know what, let's have a scavenger hunt and rediscover those things that are important to us together. You know, let's figure this thing out together. And I think there's a way to do that in which it breathes more life into the marriage. If you're going to have a midlife, it doesn't have to be a midlife crisis. It could actually end up being a midlife reconfirmation. That we've gotten to the middle zone, if you will. And it's like, you know what? Let's make sure that like E.T., like our mentor says, let's make the rest of your life the best of your life. Instead of looking in the rearview mirror and thinking, oh, the best parts are behind me. Look, because my gut ain't going nowhere either. As much as I've been trying stuff. I did 75 hard and I was looking good. Now all of a sudden I'm doing the same stuff. Ain't nothing happening. I'm like,
But I'm not complaining.
but I am. I am. Especially when y'all be taking pictures and posting them. I'm like, ooh, can you let me know? Now, all of a sudden, you know it's a midlife crisis when the man, the dad is like, I need approval on the pictures before y'all post them. Before I didn't give a rip. Now I'm like, oh, no. I need approval. Y'all messing with my
Anyway, ain't nobody worried about all that.
Look, folks, the bottom line is you're going to go through some stuff in your marriage. Doesn't mean it's necessarily a midlife crisis, but it could be a mid-marriage. It could be one of those things where you just reached this plateau. Whether it's real or unreal, the perception is all in your head. But if you think you've hit a plateau and you need something different, talk about it with your spouse. Like, something's off. I don't know. I feel a certain way. And if you don't know what that is, investigate it together. Just have some fun with it. Well, I'll say fun, but have an opportunity together to go on that exploration, if you will.
Yeah. The fun stuff is being able to rediscover each other, you know. So I remember we were super excited once our girls got old enough to where we didn't have to get a babysitter. I mean, we'd be like, oh, we didn't tell y'all we was leaving. Oh, we out. They were like, wait, where are y'all going? And what time are you coming back? And whatever.
Shane line, there were times where we were gone. We get a phone call. Did you guys leave?
But I mean, there just know that you can have that. You can be able to rediscover your spouse. That's
Absolutely.
what's up. That's what it's about.
So if you feel like you're having any of those 6 things that we talked about, or some of the other ones that we didn't talk about that have actually popped up on your list, and you feel as if you've hit a plateau, first and foremost, sit down with your spouse and let them know, hey, I'm feeling some kind of way and I don't really know why. Can we talk? Because don't assume that they see what you're feeling.
Right.
That just doesn't happen. Especially, you know, I just tell you, from a male perspective, we're oblivious. Most men are oblivious. And so you have to actually spell it out, then put it in Braille, then put up a neon sign, then get one of them planes with a banner that flies across for us to get it half the time.
I think that we all already knew that. So, you know, you weren't being Einstein or sharing anything new.
From my studies.
Just saying. We already knew, but thank you for confirming. I appreciate you.
Anyway.
Love you.
Hey, so invest in each other, invest in yourself. Be introspective. When that time comes and you do start to feel like something's off, don't go get the Harley. Don't let that be the first thing you do.
Right.
Instead of go getting the Harley, why don't you sit down and have a conversation? So with that said, thank you for joining us. Tell a friend. Tell your mama, tell your auntie, tell your granny, tell everybody about the Married into Crazy podcast. And we look forward to hearing you again, which will end up being our 200th episode. Next time you hear our voices. And don't forget to go over to Facebook and join Iron Tribe, the Facebook community. Or I'm sorry, the marriage community. Go over to Facebook, join Iron Tribe, the marriage community, and then go ahead and RSVP for the exclusive announcement that we're going to be making on July 6th. It'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We look forward to hanging out with all of you. Big things are coming. We're looking for new and improved ways that we can help marriages and lift up the covenant that we believe in so much.
That's right.
So until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.